I wanted to make a quick video to remind you about about the process of balancing redox reactions. Now, this is something that we've covered before, but just as a reminder, we treat everything as if it were ionic, so we can capture where the electrons are coming from and where they are going. So some of the basic rules for oxidation states and redox reactions are at the end of chapter 4, but just to give you a brief reminder, if we have a solid or an element sitting by itself, so you could have, say, iron as a solid, or maybe it's just O2 as a gas. If it is an element, whether it's diatomic or not, then its oxidation state is going to be 0. So iron, in this situation, has an oxidation state of 0. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 would tell us that any ion would take the oxidation state of that charge. So back up here, when I'm looking at iron 2+, that iron atom has the oxidation state of 2+. The other rules are fluorine is always -1 in a compound. Okay, hopefully that makes sense because of its electronegativity. Hydrogen is always a +1 charge if it is a covalent molecule, and most of the times it is. And then the last but not least is oxygen is typically a -2 oxidation state. Now this, it's not always true. The only time that we see oxygen as a -1 might be when we see it in, say, hydrogen peroxide. But in that case, we would see a +1 charge. Okay, so those are the rules. Again, you can see those at the end of chapter 4. So to apply those, we're going to go through this example that I set up here, and we're going to identify the oxidation state of everything that's in here. So just looking at this right off the bat, you might notice something that looks a little bizarre, and that is that I have one element on one side of the reaction that I don't have on the other. So if you can look right here, I actually have an oxygen on the left, but I don't on the right. But if you remember, when we balance these things, we are allowed to add H2O to balance my oxygens, and I can add H+. If this is an acidic solution, I can add H+ to either side as needed. So those are the two things that we are going to do depending on whether it is an acid or a base. Now, we have acid-base situations when it comes to electrochemistry because batteries can be alkaline or they can have an acidic base, or sorry, not base, but an acidic formula to them as well. So first things, we need to go through and identify the oxidation state of everything here. So just to do the easy ones first, okay, and let me make sure I've got a different color here. I've got +2 for this iron because that's the charge of the ion. I have a +3 for this one and a +2 for manganese on the right. Now over here, I have a permanganate ion, and each oxygen, each of them is a -2. So if I have 4 of them, -2 times 4, that means this has a -8 charge altogether on just those oxygens. But I do also notice that this is an ion. So everything has to add up to that -1 charge, which means, and hopefully this makes sense, this manganese has to be a +7 charge. So +7 -8 gives me the -1 charge on that ion. All right, now that I've identified all of my oxidation states, I should be able to now identify which atoms are reduced and which atoms are oxidized. I think I've recommended thinking of it as like Leo says Ger, something to kind of remember there. Leo means losing electrons is oxidized, and Ger is gaining electrons is reduced. So that might help you remember. Frankly, I just kind of think of if the number goes down, if it is reduced, then that's the elements that is reduced. For instance, I've got manganese right here goes from a +7 charge to a +2 charge. Its charge went down. Therefore, I'm going to say manganese was reduced because it went from a +7 to a +2. Now my iron goes from a +2 to a +3, which means it's lost electrons, so my iron is being oxidized. All right. So the next thing that we have to do is first things to do when we're balancing this is we're going to balance everything that isn't oxygen or hydrogen. So I look at my manganese, that's balanced, and my iron's balanced. So my first step is done. My second step would be to balance the electrons. So if I see that manganese goes from a +7 to a +2, I know it has gained 5 electrons. So I'm going to put just 5 electrons on my left because those were absorbed by this reaction. Now my iron, if it went from a +2 to a +3, only lost 1 electron. If this process of iron is only 1 electron and I need to gain 5, then my iron process has to happen 5 times for every 1 time the manganese is reduced. So I'm going to put a 5 in front of both my irons. Again, my irons are balanced and my manganese is balanced, but I had to make sure that those electrons were balanced too. Okay, next step, we are going to balance the oxygens, and we're going to do it by adding water. So if I see that I have oxygens, 4 oxygens on the left, then that means I'm going to have to add 4 oxygens to the right, and I'm going to do that with water. And I'm allowed to do that because this is all happening in water. If I see aqueous right here with ions, and we know that the ions would have to probably be aqueous if they're in the water, so we are going to add 4 waters to the right-hand side, okay? All right, so my oxygens are balanced. My next step is now to balance my hydrogens. And I see now, because I've added those waters to the right, I have 8 hydrogens on the right, so I'm going to have to add 8 hydrogens with a plus charge on the left. Now I can do this because this is in an acidic solution. Most of them will be, but if they aren't, they will have to tell you. And there's only one simple step that we have to add to this if we are to make this a basic solution. All right, so if I go back and double check everything, my electrons are balanced, my hydrogens, my oxygens, and everything else is balanced. So this would be my balanced redox reaction in an acidic solution. So let's just say for a second that this isn't an acidic solution and this is actually a basic solution. That means that I would not have this hydrogen plus hydrogen on the left available in my solution because it's not acidic, it's basic, which means I would have lots of hydroxides available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 8 hydroxides to both sides. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. But I'm adding 8 because I have 8 hydrogens, and 8 hydrogens and 8 hydroxides are going to make 8 waters. So I can scribble those out, and then I'm going to have my 8 hydroxides on the right. So if we are going to rewrite this reaction, I have permanganate plus 5 Fe2 plus 8 waters. On the other side, on my right side, I have 5 iron 3 plus 1 manganese 2 plus 4 waters. Now the last thing you might notice is I actually have water on both sides, and that means I can get rid of some. So I can cross out these 4 waters on the right, and then I'm going to quickly just make this 8 a 4. And now this reaction is balanced for, oops, let me not forget this part. That would be bad. Plus my 8 hydroxides on the right. Now it is balanced for a basic solution. All right, so let's try another just to practice here. All right, so this one is going to be, let's see here. I think I'll only do 2 examples on this video. So this one is H plus, and actually, get rid of that just for a second. I'm going to show you a tricky one here. HCl, aqueous, plus tin solid plus nitrate yields an ion, tin chloride ion, SnCl6 2 minus, plus NO2, which is a gas. These are all aqueous with the exception of that gas. And then I have water, which of course would be a liquid. All right, now I picked this one on purpose because this is one that AP gave out once. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're looking at HCl here and it says aqueous, I want you to think to yourself, I know that HCl is a strong acid. And so what really happens here is the HCl does not really exist. We know that this is actually H plus Cl minus because they're actually separated in that solution. All right, so now let's identify the oxidation states. Okay, I've got a +1 on that hydrogen. I've got a -1 on that chlorine. This tin is a solid, and it is an element standing by itself, so we're going to put that as a 0. This oxygen is a -2, but this whole ion has a charge of -1. So if you think through this, these oxygens are going to add up to -6, which means this nitrogen must be a +5. Moving over to the right, my chlorine is a -1 each. So I have 6 of those that are a -1, and this has to add up to -2, which means my tin must be a +4. My nitrogen is going to actually be also a +4 because each of my oxygens are -2 each. And then finally in the water, oxygen is a -2 and my hydrogen is a +1. So if I'm looking through my reaction, I see that tin goes from a 0 to a +4, which means that tin lost 4 electrons. Okay, do you see the other thing that changed? Yep, we've got nitrogen that went from a +5 to a +4. So it was only only gaining 1 electron each time this reaction runs, which means that I'm going to have nitrogen reduce more than once to kind of keep up with tin. In other words, there has to be this conservation of electrons. So if tin has lost 4, then I need to make sure that my nitrogen is gaining 4. The only way to do that is put a 4 in front of that NO3 and put a 4 in front of the NO2. Now I've got 4 electrons that are being gained and 4 electrons being lost. All right, our next step is to go through here and balance anything that is not hydrogen or oxygen. So if I look at my tin is balanced, my chlorine is not, so I'm gonna have to put a 6 in front of that chlorine to get that correct. My nitrogen is balanced, okay. So now I have to balance oxygen, and I'm going to do that by adding water. If you notice, I've got 8 oxygens on my right, and then another water. So there's 9 oxygens over there, and then over on the left, I have 12 oxygens, which means I'm going to need to add a little more water to the right. So if you think through it, I've got 12 on the left, I've got 8 in my NO2, so I'm going to put 4 waters on the right. All right, now my oxygens are balanced. Last part here, we're going to balance the hydrogens. On the left, I have 1 hydrogen, and on the right, I have 8. So I'm going to have to put an 8 in front of that hydrogen on the left. Okay, if we do a double check, we've got our electrons balanced. All my elements except for hydrogen and oxygen are balanced. Oxygen is balanced with water, and my hydrogen is balanced with H+. All right, so this is my balanced redox reaction for an acidic solution. One last thing we would do, and only if they say it's basic, I would then go back and add. Do you remember what we're going to add? We are going to add the same number of hydroxides to both sides that are actually mirrored in the H+. So if I have eight H pluses on the left, I need to add 8 hydroxides to both sides. We know that the hydrogen and the hydroxides actually make water, so I'm going to have 8 waters on the left. And I'm going to be able to scratch some of those out too because I have 4 on the right, so those will go away. And this 8 is going to become a 4. Now, to rewrite everything, and I'm not going to take the time to do that in this video, just for time's sake here, but then we would just rewrite it to make sure it's all nice and neat. So totally on the left, we would have 6 chlorines, 4 waters, 1 tin, 4 nitrates, and on the right, one of our tin complexes with chlorine, 4 NO2s, and 8 hydroxides. Don't forget to add that there. I am going to make one other comment that I want you to kind of look underneath my scribbles here. At one point, we had 8 H pluses and 6 chlorines. And if you remember, we split that up at the very beginning. I'm just wanting to give you a heads up that if you see a strong acid, something like that, and it is together in a redox reaction, you may want to consider splitting it. Because if you look, if I had an 8 in front of one of the ions and 6 in front of the other, that definitely would have caused problems for me balancing this reaction if I tried to keep them together. In fact, if I had, I wouldn't have been able to balance it at all. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you found this helpful.